Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Vishnupad Paramahansa Jai Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishore Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Gosai Sri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnava Sarva Bhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Gauriya Vedanta Chakja Baladeva Jabhusan Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Srinivasyamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Govinda Bhatta Das Raghunath Sada Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Gaura Parshad of Vrindavan. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Antaradvip Mayapur Tod Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritadvip Janadvip Mod Uttam Kshetra Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvadasha Vanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Govinda Radha Gopinath Radha Madan Mohan Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodara. Jai Shrimati Lalita Vishaka Adi Ashtashaki Vrindevi Ki Jai. Shrimati Purnamasi Yoga Maya Devi Ki Jai. Shri Gopi Shwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Sarva Bhishta Pradata Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Grantra Shrimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakrajiv Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsinga Dev Ki Jai. Bhakta Pravar Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charo Dham Charo Sampradaya Charo Acharya Ki Jai. Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Ananya Shaka Mat Samuha Ki Jai. Shri Vishva Vaishnava Sabha Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Pavana Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Tribala Harinama Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Tattva Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama. Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So now Tulsi is blocking my view of the devotees, of the very few devotees that are in the room. Tulsi is blocking. So I don't think this is the best place for her.
I mean, in this room,
Yeah, it can be here, but the thing is we have a fan here. That's not good for Tulsi. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think this fan also, even when she's here, is too much wind. her.
But the people is behind the river and won't be this behind it.
I know that, but that's a long distance away. This is okay. This is okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Namah Mukam Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Tise Namo Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalamashanashaya Janava Pataye Namo Satam Krishna Bhaktarundha Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Depai Priyai Keshamo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtatara Sata Sri Srila, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Leela Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtottara Sata Sri Srila, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Leela Pravishta, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Ashtottara Sata Sri Srila, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I offer my Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, and I offer my Dandavat Pranams to all of the Vaishnavas and to all of the Vaishnavis. We're continuing reading Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. We are studying Manasiksha, Instructions to the Mind, which is written by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. So it is invaluable instructions for all sadhaks, but particularly it is invaluable instructions for the sadhakas who are now entering into adhikar, qualification for entering into Sri Raganuga Bhakti. So, I'm reading the first sloka. Today. It'll make me sneeze. This also. Turn down. I think rain may be coming, that's why it's a little cooler. Alright, so the first slok of the slokas of Sri Manasiksha is Gospamantre Shri Namni Vraja Nava Yuva Dvanva Sharane Sadadambam Hitva Kururatima Purvam Atitaram Ahe Swantar Bratash Chatubhya Biache Dritapada. Can repeat after me, line by line. Kuro Goshte Goshta Layeshu Sujane Bushurakane Mantre Shri Namni Vraja Nava Yuva Dvanva Sharane Sadadambam Hitva Kururatima Purvam Atitaram. Now stay in the same timing. Sadadambam Hitva Kururatima Purvam Atitaram. Sadadambam Hitva Kururatima Purvam Atitaram. Aye Svantar Bratash Chatubhira Biache Dritapada. Aye Swantar Bratash Chatubhira Biache Dritapada. O my dear brother, my foolish mind, taking hold of your feet, I humbly pray to you with sweet words. Please give up all pride and quickly develop deep, loving attachment for the spiritual master, for Sri Brajadham, for the residents of Braja, for the Vaishnavas, for the Brahmins, for your Diksha mantras, for the holy names of the Supreme Lord, and for the shelter of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. So, we're continuing in our reading of the purport. We have come to, and then Sri Brajadham. Now we're reading the third of 8 different entities. The third one, which Raghunath Das Goswami is telling to his mind, that I'm begging you to develop rati for Goshta Layin. So Goshta means Sri Brajadham, and Goshta Layin means the residence of Vraja. So first is Brajadham, and then is the Goshta Layin, the residence. Pure devotees who live in Braja with the motive to serve the divine couple. Only pure devotees who live in Braja with the motive to serve the divine couple, they are true residents of Braja. They do not aspire even for eternal residence in Vaikuntha, what to speak of impersonal liberation or sense enjoyment. So, who are the actual Brajbasis? Who are the residents of Braja? There are many people who live in Braja, but they're not at all Brajbasis. a lot of them who are born or live in Braja claim that they are Brajavasis. They like to claim this. But what is the technical, true definition of Brajavasi? The word is being used by Raghunath Das Goswami, Goshtalayin, the residents of Braj. But what does it mean to reside in Braja? Does it mean that only we plant our body there? No. Very clearly being told by Srila Bhakti, pure devotees who live in Braj with what? With the motive to serve the divine couple. Only they are true residents of Braja. They want to serve the divine couple Radha and Krishna. Only they are the true residents of Braja, and they're in the category of Vaikuntha. They only want to be in Braj for eternity. So they do not aspire for eternal residence in Vaikuntha. What to speak of impersonal liberation or even sense enjoyment. They don't aspire for this at all. They reside in Braja both in body and in mind. That residence is both in body and in mind. And while they're residing there in Braja, both in their body and in their mind, then they render loving service. They're always engaged in loving service, prem seva, to Shri Shri Radha Krishna Jugal, the divine couple. They are considered to be devotees of the highest level, namely Uttam Bhagavats. Uttam Bhagavats. Without their mercy, without that category of a Vaishnava, without their mercy, no one can enter Raganuga Bhakti. One cannot enter Raganuga Bhakti without their mercy. So one should give up the pride. What kind of pride? Because that's what's being talked about here by Raghunath Das Goswami. Dambam, sada dambam hitva. Give up pride. But what type of pride? Now we have to learn that. What type of pride has to be given up? One should give up the pride by which one thinks, oh, I am a virtuous devotee of the Lord. I am fully conversant with all the devotional truths, and I am not inferior to the residents of Braj in any respect. I'm reading it again. One should give up the pride by which one thinks, I am a virtuous devotee of the Lord. Oh, I'm fully conversant with all the devotional truths. And I'm not inferior to the residents of Braja in any respect. So that has to be given up. But on the converse of this is what? Rather, one should have great love for them. Otherwise, not possible. No one can reside in Braj without giving up this false pride and without developing love and affection for them and attaining their mercy. No one can perform Raganuga Bhakti. No one can live in the holy Dham. This is the fact stated clearly by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The next one, number 4, out of 8 different entities, the number 4 is called Sujan. Sujane Bushuragane. Sujan. What is a Sujan? We can ask our former Sajan, or not former, Krishna Bhajan, then Sajan. And what is a Sujan?
Jan means person. Sajan means eternal person. So like the Vrajvasis, the Nagduvasis, the relationship of the world Kishore.
Bring the mic there. Otherwise the people online, they can't hear it.
Sujan. So Jan means persons. Like my name, Sajan, that means sometimes in Hindi it's called like ladies and gentlemen. Sajan like means gentleman. Or Jana, Sajana, Satjana, eternal associates of Nityananda Mahaprabhu, Radha and Krishna. Sujan means the most highest qualified. Like today it's Sugadam, very hot. So Sujan means the very most qualified and elevated associates of the Supreme Lord.
Yes. Sujanar Buddharadita Pada Yugam Yuga Dharma Durandara Patram Abhayadaya Kapuja Padam Pranamami Prabhupada Padam. Here Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj has used the word Sujan in this prayer to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Sujanar Buddha Aradita Padajugam. Here, Sujan means very, very elevated Vaishnava. Very elevated, advanced Vaishnava. And even those who have reached the Uttam stage can also be in the category of Sujan. Sujanar Buddha means millions. Our Buddha means millions. Radhita means they're worshipping. Millions of such exalted persons are worshipping Pada Yugam, the two lotus feet of you, O Srila Prabhupada. So here in this verse, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he has utilized the word Sujan after he uses the word what? Goshtalayim. So there are three different categories, each one becoming less in terms of their transcendental exalted status. So who are exalted personalities? They're Goshtalayim, actually live in the Dham. We just read what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said. They're serving Radha and Krishna Jugal 24 hours a day, in both their body and their mind. Now, why then does Raghunath Das Goswami go to the next verse, the next word, the next term is Sujan. So here, Sujan means Vaishnavas, the Vaishnavas. Sujanas, here's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling about these. He's saying Sujanas, they are devotees who belong to the four Vaishnava Sampradayas, or to their core branches, but they do not live in Braj in the just like we see. There are worshippers of Sita, true Dhamvasis? No. They may belong to any of these other Vaishnava Sampradayas, Madhvacharya, Ramanuja, etc. But they actually do not live in Braj in the true sense. And what does this mean, the true sense? This means that although they may physically take up residence in Braj, but they do not serve Sri Radha Krishna Jugal, with spontaneous attachment in the mood characteristic of braj. They don't. But how should one regard these Vaishnavas? Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he has mentioned them that one should have rati, affection. But more specifically, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that one should not look down upon them. But one should have a respectful attitude towards them. They are intermediate devotees, Madhyam Bhagavats. So, Gostalayan, Sujan, now comes the third of the personalities who are living physically in the Dham. Number 5, Bhushura means what? This earth. And Sura, us. The Brahmanas who follow Daiva Varnashram, the Brahmanas who follow that. The Vedic system of social duty that is related to advancement in devotional life, of way of life. Well, they are known as Bhusuras, lords of the earth. They are inferior devotees, Kanishta Bhagavats. So one should show affection to them also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, within the context of the narration of King Nriga, remember that narration? So here the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Naivam Druhyata Mamaka Ganantam Bahushapantam Va Namaskuruta Nityasha. So Krishna is telling these words while he's in Dwarka. He's telling them to his relatives. And almost everybody there is his relative in Dwarka. So he says, my dear relatives, do not bear any malice, even towards Brahmanas who are sinners. And even towards Brahmanas who are offenders. You should not bear malice towards them, even toward those types of Brahmanas. Even if they beat you or they curse you, you should always offer obeisances unto them. Therefore, do not maintain an attitude of contempt or of disrespect towards them. That's Krishna's instruction in relation to the story of King Nriga and what happened in the story of King Nriga. Maharaj, please enlighten us. Maharaj likes this story.
I'm also a snake. So, I forget which kalpa, but in times of yore, there was a very exalted and pious king named Nriga. And he specifically was very fond of giving in charity. He was very opulent and very wealthy, and he gave much of that wealth away to poor and to brahmanas, to different sadhus. He did so many things and so many beneficial pious activities he gave in charity. So he'd given like thousands of cows to one brahmana and to many brahmanas. But one of these brahmanas had a fenced-in area for his cows, and one of the cows that he was given by King Nriga wandered back into the place where they were before in King Nriga's cows.
No, it was to another Brahman's area.
No. Then King Nriga gave his cows again to another Brahman. Then he gave his cows to another Brahmana.
Yeah.
And then the other, that cow you have was given to me. No, it was just given to me by Kringnirga. No, my pasture, and I gave it to someone else. I'm very sorry. I will give you thousands of cows instead of the cow I gave. That was a mistake to give someone else. Said no. He said no. Therefore, I will curse you. So he cursed him to become a lizard. But he was very fortunate because one day Krishna was wandering in the forest with colored boys, Balaram, Krishna dressed in beautiful yellow garb, carrying a flute, and Balaram with his blue cloth, and just like Krishna, only in light color, carrying a bugle. And they came to a well, and then they noticed in the well, way down deep, was a lizard, and it was stuck at the well. So Krishna, I forget how, but he that lizard out of the well, and then the lizard manifested in effulgent form, and he told Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys that before I was a king, and that story that I've just narrated. But he was very fortunate because he got the association of Krishna, Balaram, and cowherd boys, and such a transcendental association.
So he was freed from the curse of the Brahmanas. So in relation to that story, this verse that we just read, spoken by Krishna himself, is warning the residents of Dwarka, do not bear malice, even toward the Brahmins who are sinners or offenders. Even if they hate you or they curse you, you should always offer obeisances unto them. Therefore, do not maintain an attitude of contempt or of disrespect towards them. So let's discuss this topic a bit. Let's discuss this topic, because this is a very far-reaching topic and very relevant for us to understand. So, what is a Brahmana? What is a Brahmana? Achyuta, what is a Brahmana?
Some people who do some mythical activities, worship demigods or
No, that's not the definition of a Brahmana. What is the definition of a Brahmana?
To know the Brahma.
Huh?
To know the Brahma.
Say the Sanskrit. No. That's who inquire into Brahma. What is the statement, the Sanskrit 3-word verse, or 4 words, that tells who is actually a Brahmana? Brahma janati iti Brahmana. A Brahmana, a true Brahman, is one who knows Brahma. One who has realized Brahma, Para Brahma, the supreme absolute truth, Para Brahma, he can be called a Brahmana. Is a Brahmana somebody that took birth in a Brahmin lineage or a Brahmin family? Is that the definition of a Brahmana? Huh? No. Why? Because Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnya Maya Shrishtam, I have created these 4 divisions of human society. Guna Karma Vibhagasha. And I have divided them according to their guna, their qualities, and karma, their activities. So there are specific qualities and activities for the 4 varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and also for Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, the ashram divisions. spiritual divisions. But the number one main qualification of a Brahmana, a true Brahmana, even though Krishna tells different qualities in the 18th chapter, Samo Damo Tapak Socham Kshantir Arjavam Evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Ashtikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. These are the swabhav. These are the natural qualities of a Brahmana. And in other places, in the Gita, Krishna describes what is like this. All have their specific duties, and they can be understood who can perform those duties because they have the specific qualities to perform those duties. That's called guna and karma. Can a Shudra perform the activities of a Brahmana? Generally, in general, a person who is of the category of Shudra, and it's also divided according to the same guna karma divisions. But a Shudra is only qualified for one particular activity. What is that? To serve others who are in the higher levels. And what modes of nature is a Shudra in, or cover, or influenced by? Tamaguna. A Shudra is influenced by, perform the function of a Brahmana or of a Kshatriya. They can do service. They can serve the other three higher divisions. That's their duty. And by this service, they will advance. They will be elevated. But now, this is Kali Yuga, right? Is this not Kali Yuga that we're living in right now? Yes, it's Kali Yuga. And there's a statement in the Vedas very clearly telling, Kalo Shudra Sambhava. That means in the Kali Yuga, everyone is born as a Shudra. Why? Why is it telling that? Because this previous system of bloodlines and so forth, which were existing since Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and so forth, in Kali Yuga they become, defunct. They're no longer taken in face value. But the following of the other varnas and ashramas cannot any longer, it cannot be determined by birth. In previous yugas it could be. More or less it could be determined by birth. Because generally if someone is born into a Brahmin lineage, they have certain, certain hereditary bloodlines, certain DNA, if you break it down, they have that. And they're equipped, by association also, they're equipped to develop those qualities and those activities. One more thing. So just like a Kshatriya, can anybody become a Kshatriya king in Vedic culture? Yeah, in Kali Yuga they can, but not in previous yugas. They had to have very specifically such and such qualifications. And generally, that line of Kshatriyas, who are called Rajarshis, very saintly kings, they give birth to the next heir. So if there was no relevance in the birth lines, then why would we recognize them? So in previous yugas, it was like this. But in the Kali Yuga now, it started to become degraded. It started to become not relevant. That if you're born as a Brahmana, that you're automatically considered a Brahmana. And that kind of but manifested very blatantly in the form of Shringi, who was born as the son of a Brahmana. And the curse that he gave to Maharaj Parikshit, and so forth, that whole story. So now the Brahmanas started to become more and more degraded. And this has gone on for all these 5,000 years since the beginning of Kali Yuga. This took place just at the very beginning of the Kali Yuga, right? So, Kalo Shudra Sambhava, until one shows the actual qualities, either of a Kshatriya or a Brahmin, they cannot be considered to be a Brahmana until they show guna karma. And so this is the problem in the Kali Yuga. As the centuries roll by, more degradation, and like this. And so what then became referred to as the caste system by foreigners of the divisions that are found in India from the ancient Varnashram system, they started to call it the caste system, right? What caste are you in? But that has absolutely no relevance. Absolutely none. However, in society, it's still looked upon as being completely true and relevant. Oh, he's born in a Brahmin family, you see. So the point is that our acharyas, including Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they completely rejected this idea that birth in a Brahmin family automatically presupposes that you are a Brahmana qualified to act and work as a Brahmana. They thought like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Example, if I'm in a family and my father and maybe even my mother also are doctors, that doesn't qualify me that I can, when I grow up, I can open up a practice and function as a doctor. I have to go to a medical school like they did and be qualified. Otherwise, I'll just be a quack.
That's right. Yeah. Prabhupada also uses the example, if one is born as the son of a high court judge, then he has some possibility, because of association, or one can become degraded, both in material qualities. So association is a very important factor. Of course, this is what we aspire for also. Very, very high birth, with very high qualifications and high... Okay, so this is necessary. But the point that our acharyas, they have not accepted that only those born in a Brahmin family are qualified to become actual Brahmanas. Otherwise, why did they give Diksha? Why did Srila Sanatana Goswami give in the Hari Bhakti Vilas all the different rules and regulations for Diksha? Never it is mentioned that you're born in a Brahmin family. Never. That you're born in such and such a family. Never it's mentioned. That's the qualification. So therefore, it became a very, very controversial and revolutionary thing that our current modern acharyas, they completely rejected this caste system of brahmanas and so forth, because it was very obvious that they were becoming completely degraded in so many different ways. So then Srila began to give initiation. No? How about Narottam Das Thakur? How about even some of the... Did they only give initiation to those born? So the determining factor, who is a Brahmana? Because here Krishna is talking about Brahmanas, and he's talking about being very careful not to offend them and not to bear. They're sinful. Even if they're sinners and they're offenders, Krishna is saying. And even if they beat you or they curse you, always offer Janati iti Brahmana. That's the real qualification. That someone is highly advanced, highly realized what is Brahma, Para Brahma. So that is the real qualification of a Brahmana. He has realization of Brahma. And according to his level of advancement, his realization is of a certain depth, and then more deep, like that, until Mahabhagavat, full, perfect realization. So, but this is being mentioned by Raghunath Das Goswami in relation how in my mind you should have rati, you should have affection. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that these brahmanas who are being referred to as Bhushura Gana by Raghunath Das Goswami, they follow the Daivi Vanashram, the Vedic system of social duties. They follow that. And this is related to advancement in devotional life. And they are Vaishnavas, and they're also teachers. They are known as Bhusuras, the lords of the earth. They are actually in the category of inferior devotees, Kanishta Bhagavats. So one should show affection to them also. And then he quotes the verse from Lord Krishna. So any other points to be mentioned or questions in this regard? Yeah. Microphone.
It's also important to know that a Vaishnava is automatically considered a Brahman.
Yes, good for mentioning that. So, is a Brahman automatically a Vaishnava? A Brahman automatically gods, worshippers of Shakti, Lord Shiva, and so forth. So, a Brahmana is not necessarily a Vaishnava. But, if a person is an actual Vaishnava, then he's automatically a Brahmana. And this is the reason why Srila Sanatana Goswami has written the verse which describes the meaning of the word Diksha. Divya Jnanam Tato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Samshaya. Forgot the next line. Divyam Jnanam Tato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Samshaya. Meaning that if a person has attained Diksha, what does that mean? That the person has attained what? Siddhanta Tattva Gyan, he has realized it. And there's many categories of Tattva. But he has realized Tattva Siddhanta, the conclusion of all revealed truths that are given in the Vedas through the disciplic succession. Ultimately, what does it mean? It means you realize your eternal spiritual identity. And Ksha means Kshapayati, means that all of one's chain of sinful and pious reactions that have kept him here, taking birth again and again in the material world, they become gradually completely stopped, terminated. Complete destruction of all of one's previous sins and pious activities. So, if someone has received Diksha in the line of the disciplic succession, then Srila Sanatana Goswami gives the example, just like bell metal can be turned into gold by addition of certain liquid mercury according to a certain alchemical process. Gold. So simplified Guru Diksha mantras and begins to engage in the practice of bhakti, in the line of Shuddha Bhakti, aspiring for pure bhakti, and continuing to chant those mantras. But even from the beginning, when the person has received those mantras, like for example, what did our Srila Prabhupada do? What did our Guru Dev also do? And also in the, in the line of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that when someone has received Diksha, then what can be qualified to do? They're to recite Vedic mantras, they're qualified to perform Vedic yajnas, and to worship the Lord like this. But that qualification is, of course, not that you've all of a sudden become a highly qualified Vaishnava Brahmana. No, you have to develop those qualifications. What the term used is your entrance examination. If you want to go to any university in the entire world, if you want to go to that educational institution, any university in the entire world, they will have a certain test that you will have to take to prove that you are qualified to study, right? Entrance examination. If you pass that, then you can be accepted in the university and you can begin to take classes. You can begin to attend classes and lectures and so forth under highly qualified experts, professors in that particular area of knowledge. But if you're not accepted at the university, you can attend those classes. You can attend those classes, get the actual approval and reception by the university. So therefore, entrance examination is first required. So like this, a Vaishnava, our acharyas, they were very specific about this. They did not keep to the standard of the external perverted varnashram system, because they saw that everywhere people are so-called brahmanas or posing as brahmanas, and they have no qualifications actually. No spiritual qualifications and even practically material qualification. To the point where Srila Prabhupada, he used to say that a person can go to the marketplace, he can purchase 1 paisa, a Brahmin, and put it on. So does he suddenly become a Brahmin families? Some of them end up driving rickshaws, but they wear their Brahmana thread. So unless they are Vaishnavas, actual entering into the Vaishnava pathway, any Vaishnava, even if they're born in the family of dog eaters, the birth is not relevant. What is relevant is their qualifications. They have certain qualifications from previous lives. Certain qualifications are there. Certain qualities, certain tendencies, and so forth. So the birth is not the final determining factor at all. It can be somewhat of a determining factor, but it is not at all final. And if that were the case, then how in the world did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, through the preaching and the absolute surrender of the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, and so forth, how did that spread throughout the whole world if this was not the truth? That anyone, wherever they're born, in any family and so forth, they can come into pure bhakti pathway, they can become purified, they can become advanced, they can receive Diksha, and they can become actual qualified Brahmin Vaishnavas. So when Prabhupada came to the West in the very beginning, he would inform the devotees that I have come to make Brahmanas, because human society is now very, very disheveled, very disorganized, and very full of so much sinful activities and contamination, led by the Brahmanas. Brahmanas are the intelligent class. These are the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas are the torso, Shudras are the legs. So without a head, nobody can function. If your arms or your legs are amputated, you can still function. So in this way, the necessity of understanding what a Brahmana is important, but especially the necessity of understanding what is a Vaishnava. So you know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he prepared a very wonderful lecture that he delivered, I think in the city called Dinajpur, here in West Bengal, where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was not well physically, his body was ill, and he told his son, at that time he was a younger personality, he told him that you will have to go and represent me because we are being invited to come to a huge conference where there will be hundreds of Brahmanas and hundreds of Vaishnavas and a huge gigantic audience, and there will be a debate. And the debate is concerning the topic, who is superior, the Brahmanas or the Vaishnavas? So that was the first time publicly that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur addressed such an audience. First time. They knew that he's the son of K. Dharanath Datta, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but this is the first time they're hearing him. And luckily, that lecture was kept and translated from Bengali into English, and we have the book. The book's title is On Brahmins and Vaishnavas. That's the title. I have it in Vrindavan. Very amazing. And we understand that when Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur arrived there, and he was given his opportunity to speak after various others had already spoken, and there was very erudite and very in this conference. They would judge who has actually succeeded to show with all relevant evidence, quotations from Shastra, and who has which party. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur began time and addressing the whole conference. He first of all put forward that actually the Brahmins are superior, are in the highest position. And then he began to quote from so many different Shastras and to quote the exalted qualities of the Brahmanas and why they are worshipable and so many things. And as he was speaking, he spoke at least for 3 or 4 hours without stopping. And the Brahmanas, they really thought, wow, he's proven it now. We've won. Our position has been proven to be in this topmost superior position. But then they adjourned because they had a second part in the afternoon period. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came back, he had completed in the morning glorifying the Brahmanas. But now he began to glorify the Vaishnavas. And he spoke on and on and on, even longer than 4 hours. He began to quote all of these various relevant verses from all of the topmost Vedic literatures. And as the time was moving on, the Brahmins' faces drooped. Their smiles turned into, pouting or whatever. And they kind of understood, now he's really proven. So anyway, that's how I heard it, the narration of this story. But it was, absolutely unanimous that he had proven superior to the Brahmins. The topmost Vaishnava personality, he's automatically a Brahmana. Why? Because he's realized Brahma. He has realized, and he in 24 hours a day, worshipping Krishna, Radha and Krishna, Mahaprabhu. So when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati ended his second half, the whole crowd stood up and they were just swept away in ecstasy, and all were clapping and just, they were announcing Jai, Jai, Jai. So what happened was, they now wanted to take the dust from his lotus feet, realizing who is this personality that we just heard speaking here for all these hours. But then the audience was rushing forward, so there were police there, and they stopped the audience, and then they ordered that a big, huge, I don't know, some kind of gigantic pot should be brought, filled with water, and the lotus Siddhanta Saraswati should be put, and then they would distribute. So in this way, you know, we do hear that even in the Kali Yuga, there are quotations that in the Kali Yuga, the demons are even taking birth in so-called Brahmin families in the Dham. There are statements in Shastra verifying this fact. What to speak of Bhaktivinoda Thakur clarifying and stating that some persons who appear to look like Vaishnavas, but they have the tilak, they have the thick tulsi beads and so forth, but are they actually Vaishnavas? Servants of Krishna? No, they're Kali, servants of Kali. Everything becomes more and more and more. Dham, Sri Navadvip Dham, Sri Jagannath Puri Dham, these are actual dhams, the topmost dhams of all tirthas and holy places. So therefore, they're worshipable, and those who reside in the dham, they try to give proper respect. It's a little challenging sometimes. It's like Varshana, and nevertheless, we've actually witnessed our Gurudev, when they try to approach him, that he walks out of the temple and they walk after him, but he just ignores. So we should be careful, but especially with those who are living the life of Vaishnavas, even if they're not advanced Vaishnavas, even if they're in the category of Kanishtas, they may be born into these caste Goswami families and so forth. So we should always respect them. Yeah.
Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was touring South India, it mentions in Chaitanya Bhagavat how he entered into temples. I forget if it was or a place where Vishnu's lotus feet are. I forget, but he was. It explains that he was harassed by the Brahmanas and the Pandits, even Mahaprabhu.
He was also very tolerant of them and very amicable towards them. All right, so we're just going to continue on here for about 25 more minutes. The sixth item that Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad mentions after mentioning Guru, Goshte, Goshtale, Sujane, Ushuragane, those five. What does Swamantra mean? It means one's own Diksha mantras. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Master is known as Swa Mantra. One should chant this mantra regularly with special love, in accordance with the method instructed by the Guru. So, Gurudev, unlike our Srila Prabhupada, and even unlike Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, Gurudev would take a little time when he would give Diksha to devotees, and he would give some explanation of the Diksha mantras. It would vary according to the individuals and so forth. But our Srila Prabhupada did not give. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj did not give. And what he told is that the mantra, when you chant the mantra properly, the mantra will reveal himself, the Ishtadev of the mantra. So, but of course there are descriptions in Bhajan Rahasya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how to meditate while chanting the mantra, what to think of, what mood to have, mood of prapatti, sharanagati, surrender, like this. But it should be a deity that you are worshipping by chanting the mantra. Yes. There should be a mood of love and mantras. And then comes the seventh item, which is Sri Harinam. So, this is not a big mystery for us. What is Sri Harinam? Here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining Sri Hari, Sri Krishna, Govinda, Gopinath, Radha Kanta, and so on. These are all the principal names of the Supreme Lord. These are the principal names of the Supreme Lord. Hari, Sri Govinda, Govinda, Gopinath, Radhakanta, and so on. What do you need?
I was just asking for some water. I don't want
No, she can bring it to you. So, Swamantra. Now she went because she probably touched her mouth to the bottle. So therefore she didn't want to give you that bottle. So now she's gone to get some other. So, Sri Harinam is the seventh category. And here, first of all, Thakur is telling that Sri Govinda, Kanta, and so on, these are the principal names of the Supreme Lord. Whereas Patita Pavana, Paramatma, Brahma, and so on, these are his secondary names. Only the principal names should be chanted, especially the Maha. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this mantra, consisting of 16 names, it is called the Maha Mantra for deliverance in Kali Yuga. So therefore one should perform japa and kirtan of this mantra with love. So, not like certain apasampradayas tell, oh no, you should not sing out loud. You should not sing this Mahamantra out loud, only in japa. This is so... Mahaprabhu himself demonstrated this. And all of a sudden somebody comes along and said, no, you're not supposed to chant. Even this is a caste Goswami line. But this is just a tiny, there's a lot more to be heard about each one of these items. And that we will be hearing in the course of reading this Sri Manasiksha. Now, Braja Navayuva Dvandva Sharane. So Braja Navayuva Dvandva means couple. Braja Nava Yuva Dvandva. The divine couple of Braja, which is none other than Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. The divine youthful couple of Braja. So, but at the end of this statement, Vraja Nava Yuva Dvandva, comes the word Sharane. What does Sharane mean? Sharan. What does it mean? So, here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says surrender means to take complete and exclusive shelter at the lotus feet of the eternally youthful divine couple, Jugal Kishore, Sri Sri Radha Krishna. That's what surrender means. What does it mean? To do what? What does surrender actually mean? In a concrete way. What does surrender actually mean? Huh? That means surrender. What does Sharanagati mean? What did we just hear? Bhaktivinoda Thakur telling. He says surrender means to take complete and exclusive shelter at the lotus feet of who? Of the eternally youthful divine couple, Jugal Kishore, Sri Sri Radha Krishna. This is what surrender means. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has stated in his song, which is entitled Sri Radha Nishta, from his book titled Gitavali. So he Radhikar Dasi Jadi Abhiman Shigrai Milai Tava Goku. So what is the meaning of this? Radhi Jadi Hoy Abhiman. What does the word Abhiman mean? Abhiman. What's the meaning of the word Abhiman?
Conception.
Conception of what? Of oneself. Self-conception.
Sometimes there's Deha, Abhiman, but
Yeah, but it's all pertaining to the self. Abhiman means conception of one's self. False ego. Sometimes the word false ego is given as a translation of Abhiman.
Gurudev explains like
Mic. Just leave the mic up. You don't have to take it up and take it down
Gurudev,
each
in
time.
this context, once said, like, Abhiman, like the residents, the Brajbasis, they have an Abhiman that Krishna took birth, but yeah, they have an Abhiman, like, there's an Abhiman that, in fact, he's named Abhimanyu. There's an Abhiman that that Radharani is married to someone else, and his name is Abhimanyu. So in this world, that person takes a real form. So there's an Abhiman of all the Brajbasis. Yeah, we've heard Gagracharya even say he's the Supreme Lord, but we don't accept it. He's just our darling Lala or
Well, that's true. But what is that based upon? Don't put it up. Because actually that wears down these gears if you do that. If you don't loosen it when you take it up and down, it wears away at these gears that are inside of here. So, what is the Abhiman of a Brijavasi? That Krishna is my beloved. It's their own relationship with Krishna. when you say there's an Abhiman in Goloka Braj, that Krishna took birth from the womb of Mother Yashoda, although it's not outwardly, did not actually happen, right? But there's an Abhiman. But that's in relation to their relationship with Krishna, that he's the son of Mother Yashoda. And that is their self-conception. So anyway, the word Abhiman is being used here in this song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Develop the Abhiman, Hoy Abhiman, that you are the dasi of Srimati Radhika. Ultimately, this whole Manasiksha is to develop this Abhiman, that you are the dasi of Srimati Radhika. And here Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his song, which is titled Sri Radha Nishta, to have complete nishta in Srimati Radhika, then one has to develop this Abhiman that I am the dasi of Radhika. So now he's telling what will be the result. If you, because here the word jadi means if. So Radhikara dasi jadi. If you can develop this Abhiman towards Srimati Radhika, that she is my worshipable, eternal, transcendental personality, who is the most beloved of Krishna. So, and I am her dasi. When one develops that mood, that I am the dasi of Srimati Radhika, then what will happen? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, by developing this self-conception, then very quickly, it says, Shigrai Milai, very quickly you will meet, who? Gokula Khan. Kana. Who is Kana? Khan. It's the name of Krishna. In Braj, Krishna's name is Kana. That's like his nickname, Kana. So Gokula Khan means the beautiful boy, the son of Mother Yashoda, in Gokul, who is born in Gokul. You will meet him. Meet Krishna. You want to meet the son of Mother Yashoda? There is a particular method which will speed up the process. How to meet that person, Krishna. And here he says, Radhikara dasi jadi hoy abhiman. If you develop this abhiman, this ego, that I am the dasi of Srimati Radhika, and she is the worshipable deity of my heart, then what? Shigrai milai tava Gokulakan. Very quickly, Gokulakana Krishna, you will very quickly meet him. So here the translation says, if one self as a maid servant of Srimati, then very quickly he will attain Brajendra Nandan of Gokula. So that is the meaning of Vrajanava Yuva Dvandva Sharana. Now comes the 9th item. These are all the different words in the verse. So the word Dambam Hitva. Dambam Hitva. Hitva means to give it up. Just give it up. Hitva. Throw it away. Dambam means pride. Now, here Bhaktivinoda Thakur very carefully explains what are these elements that cause this false pride. First one is called Maya, illusion. I am this body. Everything connected with this body. All the attachments. Second element is deceit. Deceit means chala. Chala means to cheat and deceive. Chala. Third one is kapatata. Kapatata means hypocrisy. You're hypocrites. You're outwardly showing one thing, but internally another. Then comes ignorance, avidya. Then comes kutilata, or kutilata. Kutilata means dishonesty. Dishonesty means depravity. Depravity. Although I know the word, but I want to see the exact definition. Depravity. Okay. So, depravity means deprive, but it's a different meaning entirely. Moral corruption, and also wickedness. That's called depravity. Now we see that everywhere, especially in political circles, such depravity is going on. Also, the innate corruption of human nature. So what is an example of depravity? This goes beyond the mere bad behavior. It goes beyond that. It is a total lack of morals, of values, and even regard for other living things, like the depravity of a serial killer. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling so dambam hitva, to give up pride. So these different tendencies, they result in pride, false pride. And this must be given up. If someone wants to come onto the pathway, especially of Raga Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, it must be given up. So that's why this is the first thing mentioned by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Sada dambam hitva. Always give up pride. And what is this comprised of? Illusion, deceit, hypocrisy, ignorance, dishonesty, and depravity. Aspects of pride. So these are not good things, degree or another. Now in the cultivation of bhakti, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, in the cultivation of bhakti, all desires and all aspirations in the mind other than those which increase one's pure love for one's most worshipful deity, for one's Ishtadeva, all of these are known as kapatata. Oh, not so. Because in the cultivation of bhakti, all the desires, all of the aspirations that are in the mind, which are not the proper aspirations and desires, such as those which increase one's pure love for one's worshipful deity. Any of those other aspirations are called kapatata, hypocrisy. Now, the influence of avidya, ignorance, avidya, the influence of avidya increases when there is a predominance of what? Fruitive activity. What is fruitive activity? Searching, acting, trying to get material sense enjoyment. Selfish interest, material sense enjoyment. This is fruitive activity. It may be very sophisticated, such as karma, kandya, worshipping demigods, this, that. But for every jiva who's a conditioned soul in this world, they have avidya, big time. They don't have vidya. So therefore they're chasing constantly after this illusory soul pleasure of the material senses and the sense objects. So what happens when the influence of this avidya increases, and when there is a predominance of fruitive activity, karma, that your bhakti is not covered by jnana, karma, and so forth, which means yoga, tapasya, everything else. Your bhakti is not covered by that. Because what happens if it is? Your tendency toward avidya, or the influence of avidya, increases. Whenever this is there, it increases. So when there is any type of unfavorable attitude in the cultivation of Krishna Bhakti, whenever that happens, any type, unfavorable attitude, all these should be abandoned very diligently. Maya is covering. So they must be abandoned very, very diligently when anything is unfavorable attitude to the cultivation of Krishna Bhakti. It's the covering of Maya. All kinds of false pride, all kinds of false pride arising out of strictly adhering to the occupational duties corresponding to one's caste and one stage of life, like Varnashram Dharma. That's one category. False pride automatically arises when these things are there, or material aspirations, or misconceptions about one's true identity. So, all of these, by taking shelter of unalloyed devotion, should have. This Manasiksha, we haven't barely begun it yet, but it's full of very vivid, lucid descriptions given by Raghunath Das Goswami. Give this up, give this up, give this up, category after another, after another. Each case, verses that are mentioning that this has to be given up, this has to be given up. But he's telling how to give it up in each one of the verses. That's going to be a very interesting study for us as we progress in our reading and study. So that is Hari Bol. Any questions or comments?
Yes, I have a question. Because there is two times said Chkala and two times Abman, Chkala and Kultivata. Abman, Chkala and Kultivata is almost the same, dishonesty. And lie and dishonesty is like the same.
Well, Chala Bhakti Dushana Rama, in that song, about Kali Kukur Kadan Jadi Chauhe, at the very end of the song, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Chala, what was it? Chala Bhakti, or Chala Bhakti, cheating, deceitfulness. Deceitfulness has a tendency to want to try to cheat someone. But there's a difference between that tendency of wanting to portray yourself in a certain way, but actually you're cheating. Huh? Because kutilata means dishonesty. There's a big difference between dishonesty and cheating tendency. They're different than one another. So dishonesty means that you don't have truthfulness inside of you. You don't have this essential quality of truthfulness. And if you don't have truthfulness as an essential quality, then how are you going to become a Brahmana? Because a Brahmana's qualities are satyam, socham. Satyam means truthfulness, socham means cleanliness or purity. You know? So, this is why this is in two different categories being mentioned. Any other question or comment?
How fortunate we are to be studying these verses of Manashiksha, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami.
Okay.
While instructing his own mind...
This is the final verse, 12th verse of Manasiksha.
So there's an introduction to the translation. While instructing, Raghunath Das Goswami offers the following benediction in order to inspire other devotees to study and recite this composition known as Manashiksha. Here's the direct translation. Anyone who, adopting the line of Sri Rupa and his followers, takes up residence in Gokulavan and loudly sings these 11 excellent instructions to the mind in a melodious voice with full understanding of their meaning will certainly obtain the matchless gem of worshipping Shri Radha and Krishna.
Sanskrit?
Daikadarsha varam etam madhuraya gira gayatyuchai ghana sarva tataya sayukta Shri Rupanuga iha bhavan gokulavane janorada krishnanuda krishnatula bhajanaratam salabhyate.
Just read the synonyms.
Yajana, anyone who Shri Rupanuga Bhavan becomes Shri Rupa Goswami Sayukta in the forest of Gokula in Sri Braj Mandala near Govardhan, or as we are situated in Gupta Vrindavan, Sri Navadvip. Uchai and loudly, Gayati sings, Etat, these, Varam, excellent, Ekadasha, 11 verses, Manashikshada, which give instructions to the mind, Madhuraya Gira, with sweet voice, Samagata, having thoroughly understood, Sarva, all, Artarta Tati, the many meanings, Sa-i, Labhyate, obtains, Atula, the incomparable, Bhajanaradam, jewel of worship, Radha Krishna, unto Shri Radha and Krishna.
Manasiksha daikadasha kavarametan madhuraya kiragayatyuchai kulavane jano radha krishna tula bhajana ratnam salabhate. Anyone who, adopting the line of Sri Rupa and his followers, takes up residence in Gokulavan and loudly sings these 11 excellent instructions to the mind in a melodious voice with full understanding of their meaning, he will certainly obtain the matchless gem of worshipping Sri Sri Radha Krishna. So as we progress in our reading of the Manasiksha, we will be simultaneously chanting each one of the verses should be understand the meaning of the verses. So, as is being told in the 12th verse, Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, there is a benediction that if you will adopt the line of Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupanuga, Sayuta Sri Rupanuga Iha Bhavan. Why are we studying this? So that we can understand the meaning of these verses. Not such an easy thing to understand the meaning of these perfectly, so that all these verses, we can remember them and we can recite them with understanding of the meaning, even if we're just reciting the Sanskrit. But this is what is required in order to recite stotras, prayers, and different stavas and stutis and so forth. This is essential to understand the meaning of each and every. Otherwise, it's like a parrot. You're just. But we should learn these shlokas and the meaning. Otherwise, it's what is the use? So it's very essential that yes, living in Vraja and taking up residence in Gokulvan, being in the line of Rupa Goswami, loudly singing in a melodious voice, but with full understanding of the meaning of each and every shloka. Then one will certainly obtain the matchless gem of worshipping Sri Sri Radha and Krishna in Braj. Pretty good, huh? Good deal? Good deal. Only 12 verses. It's a good deal. You don't really have to do that much. If you concentrated on this, you could probably memorize one shloka per week by telling it again and again and again, studying the synonyms and so forth. So in 12 weeks, you'd be able to follow the instruction of Raghunath Das Goswami by singing each and every one of these verses and completely obliterating all the competition who are not singing. But guess what? You get to take part in the benediction that Raghunath Das Goswami has given. So this is a matter of striving. This perfection will not happen just by memorizing a shloka or two. No. You have to understand the deep meaning of it, and you have to recite that shloka from the heart, understanding the meaning and the prayer that is there within the shloka. And then it's real stava stuti. Otherwise it's like external. Okay, done for today. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Gaur Hari Bo. We're going to take kartals or gong. I'll play the mridanga and we will complete. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Krishna, Jaya Sachinanda, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinanda, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinanda, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinanda, Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura He, 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 Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Shri Manasiksha ki jai, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami Pad ki jai, Shri Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Vrindai Tulsidebai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo